you excusing yourself with excuses?
Instead of finding excuses, find some.
Every time you make an excuse, you're blaming it on someone else. And when you put that blame on someone else, you just handed them.
People don't want to do that internal thing. They want to just find who's the villain. It's lowballers. It's customers.
Yeah.
It's nobody wants to work.
Who's the villain?
It's nobody wants to work.
We don't realize it because we're crazy entrepreneurs, but we forget everybody's lifestyle is different. It's not all the same as ours.
America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
Are you excusing yourself with excuses? That's the topic of today's podcast. Kevin, man, we hear so many excuses. I know in the past I've given excuses, especially in my 20s. I can't help but think of some of the folks that I have seen where they use those excuses of, it's an election year. The labor pool is short right now. Nobody's wanting to spend money right now because they're scared of the interest rates or the stock market. What's some of the other excuses we've heard?
Oh my God, there's a million of those things. I hate the lowballer one.
Yeah.
The chug and cut. These guys.
There's so many
These guys will be
lowballers
out
in my
of business.
market.
Like, who cares? I hate the term, the chug and chuck, the guy without insurance or the guy who's supposedly lowballing you. If he's putting you out of business, you are going out anyway.
Absolutely.
I don't even think about that. It's not even
They're not qualified leads. They didn't have the money to spend. The marketing's not working. It's not my customer avatar. Like, there's just so many excuses, and those people stay in a place of lack because everything in their life has an excuse.
You could say all marketing companies are scams and all these other things. What can you do? Instead of finding excuses, find solutions. We all know people like that in our lives too. They're draining. I've had people that get in my message. As soon as they start doing that, I think it's 8:30 on a Thursday. My son's over here playing Legos. Do I want to play Legos with my son?
Yeah.
Or do I want to try to convince this guy that he can actually do these things? I don't. I just say, all right.
Yeah, I think extreme ownership is what I would call it. I mean, when you decide that everything in your life is your fault, you stop putting the blame on someone else. I think it was Grant Cardone I heard say this one time, and it completely transformed my viewpoint. And he was like, every time you make an excuse, you're blaming it on someone else. And when you put that blame on someone else, you just handed them your freedom. Because you said, I don't have control when you make an excuse. And when you give that control away, that's a very vulnerable state. And that's why you'll never be able to make change in your life. Because if you don't have any control, then you can't create change to produce change for in the future. Like, we are exactly where we deserve to be based off of our actions yesterday.
Yeah, I like that about you're basically where you are. You're supposed to be in life. There's some examples that are, but there's not. I had that mentor, and he said, if you look at somebody you've known for 5 years, you've been watching them, you've been hanging out with them, and you look where they are in health, wealth, relationships, if they're in business or their job, there's not one person you've been watching for 5 years where you're perplexed on where they are.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
I agree.
How is
100%.
this person 30 pounds overweight? I don't get it. Or how is this person?
Right.
But if they're successful, you're like, yeah, I see it. And then if they're not doing really well and they're in horrible relationships, you're like, I kind of get it. I mean, it's kind of how it rolls. Like, it's really hard to find one person. So when you know that, everything you're doing today in 5 years, there will be no confusion on why you're there.
These young guys that are in their 20s that have been able to hit massive success early on like that, I always sit in amazement. And you listen to their story, and almost all of them sat there and watched something and then just went blindly all in on it and took a risk, where the majority of others would have been sitting there picking apart saying why it wouldn't work. But instead they said, man, I think this is going to work, and this could be my $1 million ticket.
If anything's not working in your life and you say, I'm going to spend 60 minutes a day focused on this, not 3 hours, not 5 minutes, 60 minutes. I'm not going to say it will go away, but it will be in much better shape in just 90 days. In 6 months, it will be completely different. That's anything you want. So if you suck at marketing and you say, I'm just going to read Dan Kennedy books, do YouTube videos. I'm going to do this for 60 minutes. And you could work up. You could say, I'm going to do 5 minutes, then 10, I'm 15. I'm going to have 5 minutes a day. Because I don't believe I'll actually do this for 60 minutes. In a year, you're going to know a lot.
Right.
You're not going to be Alex Hormozy, but you're going to know a lot about
Absolutely.
marketing. And
it stacks.
if that's your number one thing. And you could do two things, but it could be something else in your life. You're totally out of shape, whatever. And you say, I'm just do 60 minutes. First, I'm just going to walk, then I'm going to do 30 minutes of walk and work out and think about my diet. Yeah, you're going to lose a lot of weight. You're going to get in shape. So to just say I can't do it, or well, people don't want to do that internal thing. They want to just find who's the villain. It's lowballers. It's customers.
Yeah.
It's nobody wants to work.
Who's the villain?
It's nobody wants to work. It's all these other things. This is the harsh truth. When I look back, I realized it, but I totally realized it later. People didn't want to work for me.
Yeah.
I was paying a lot of times people more per hour. That gets people in the door. But I didn't have like a benefits package. It was sometimes seasonal, or and I didn't have like a development. There'd be like one spot. They could become a crew leader or something like that. You have to go back and say, if I'm 20, whatever, I'm 20 years old, why do I want to work for this guy?
Right.
And then create that thing. Because the guy we're going out to dinner with today, I mean, I don't know how many employees he has. It's got to be
A lot, I'm sure.
could be 1,000
Yeah.
more. How did he find all those people? It's not because he's finding them on Craigslist, giving them work, and then calling them on Friday, like, hey guys, we're not working on Monday.
Yeah.
They're going to leave.
He creates the opportunity, and then they can come in. I had a very honest talk with myself several months ago, because I was looking at my turnover in technicians. And I had a business coach sit there, because I told him, I said, my turnovers, seems to be somewhere around 9 months to a year on my technicians. And her eyes got big, and she said, that's not okay. She said, you can't be training every 9 months to a year.
Yeah.
And I said, I just felt like, because of this industry, as, disaster cleanup industry and odd hours and stuff, I said, I just felt like maybe that was just, the reality of it. She said, no, that's not the reality. And the reason I have this business coach is because this business coach gets to see many other different businesses, especially in this industry. So it can help benchmark where I'm underperforming and where I'm overperforming. And she said, how's your culture? And I've always thought my culture was really good. And the people sit there and say it's a really great company to work at. But I walked away from that, and I really started just contemplating over, is my culture really right? Is it the best it can be? And then as I started analyzing it, I realized, there's been a level of inconsistency in the technician's scheduling. Whether it was they had a weak morning, like the morning was light in work, and then all of a sudden they think they're off at 5, but then we get a water call in and they have to go. And so now they're working till 10, but yet they were on standby first thing in the morning. And so I've been working to tweak that, and I finally got that to where that's almost completely tweaked. But I thought that's exactly why I've been losing some great technicians, because of me, what I allowed and what I tried to say was good and didn't need work, until I had that person ask me that question. How is your culture? My immediate response was, it's good. Like, I think we're good there. But I walked away thinking about it, and I realized, oh, that's not the case.
This is what I did when I started trying to fix it, is contact the person that left, say, hey, hope everything's well, but just want to ask a couple questions. I'm trying to make my company better. They almost always answer you.
Yeah.
And I would say, hey, how come you left?
Yeah.
Or what happened? And I remember out of the first 3 people, 2 of the people said it never ended. Like, once you think it's done, and there's like always more behind it. They want it to be, I didn't have kids. I didn't give a shit about it.
Right.
And I had other people in my company who were like that too. They wanted more, but some of these guys, they want to go home at 5 because they were going to see their kid's soccer game, or they want to do some homework with their, whatever it is. And it's like, now we're getting home at 6:30. And then you throw them a bonus or whatever, but that's not what they want. I didn't really think about it. He said it was wreaking havoc on my home life. And then you would change it. You would say, hey, we're going to be in New Jersey all week. And then like you would change it on Sunday. Like, yeah, we're going to Maryland. We'll be gone Thursday, Friday, we'll be back Saturday.
We don't realize it because we're crazy entrepreneurs, but we forget everybody's lifestyle is different. It's not all the same as ours.
So then I started saying, I'll tell everybody by 12 o'clock the Friday before exactly what it looks like. It will not change. And I wanted to change it a lot of times. And add more, I wouldn't do it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And people appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, blue collar millionaires. We'll see you next week. Appreciate y'all tuning in.